to Petra.
It's high tide.
Traveling to Volskaya Industries. Prepare to attack. Select your crew.
Major protests have been reported in the city of Wuhan, China, over the past week. Reportedly, yesterday, there was the 7th straight day of protests there. Residents are reportedly protesting against a waste-to-energy incinerator that the government wants to build, the residents say, right near residential areas. And there are unverified videos floating around on social media of very large crowds, of confrontations between protesters and police, of large columns of either police or troops marching through the streets. So, and this is now being widely reported. So we wanted to bring you an update on the major protests in Wuhan, China.
I am playing
and also we're going to take your comments and questions on the air. You can write to me at Lookner on Twitter, And thank you for joining us for this broadcast. We have, and thank you to our moderators. We have in the YouTube chat, Bridget and Danny James and Keisha Fowler are there, and Barbara Smith and Michael B. And our Periscope moderators, like Bertrice and Linda Bell.
Don't get walled, don't get walled.
Paul Thomas, and our Facebook and Twitch moderators as well. Now, just some important background here. In China, major protests are not accepted in China. There are not infrequently there are minor protests that take place about local issues, but the Chinese government does not want major protests. They don't want anything that causes people to question the social order. They don't want anything that inspires people around the country to rise up against the Communist Party. So major protesting is a no-no in China, and it's rare to hear about major protests like this. But it's being widely reported now, and it's, originally, yesterday I started hearing a lot about it on social media, but in the last, I'd say, 24 hours, there have been a number of major media organizations reporting on this. For example, South China Morning Post, thousands protest in China over waste incineration plant. Radio Free Asia, thousands protest waste incinerator plants in China's Wuhan. LA Times, Wuhan, China is protesting. New York Times, protesters over incinerator rattle officials in Chinese city. Times UK, China sends in riot police over waste protests. So this is now, in like the last day, this has started to get a lot more coverage, and a lot of major news outlets are reporting on this. But let me start by showing you some of the videos that have been floating around. Now, I cannot confirm any of the videos. All I can do is say that a number of these videos have been posted by accounts I follow, multiple accounts I follow, and I've seen like one video where somebody who's familiar with the region said, no, that's fake. But of the videos I'm going to show you, I haven't seen anyone who knows something about this say, oh no, that's obviously fake. But I can't confirm any of the individual videos, but they do match up with accounts we've
actually
hearing,
held it for that
from
long.
there. Also, reportedly and unsurprisingly, Chinese censors have been censoring news of this. A big surprise. So that's going to keep the amount of information from getting out there, and also, it prevents getting, more. If you were in a country without the same censorship, you would probably get a lot more reliable, more video and more reliable video. But it's hard to get, stuff coming out of that country just because so much of it is censored. Okay, so here, for example, here's a video from Sotiri. That he posted, which is, I've seen videos like this. I can't confirm it, he says a huge protest broke out in Wuhan, mainland China, earlier today. Now, these protests have been going on reportedly for around a week, but now I don't believe. I've heard it disputed that tanks were being sent in, so I don't have reliable information that tanks were being sent in. But I do want to show you the video because the video matches a bunch of video I've seen claiming to come from there. I can't confirm the video, however. So here's the video that Sotiri posted. Hang on. Now let me show you a couple clips from Jack Hazelwood. And Jack used to work for a Hong Kong publication. So let me show you some of the clips he posted about that he believes are from these protests. Hang on one second here. This is Jack Hazelwood. So he said, this aerial shot, he says, provides a better view yet of PAP movements and makes it clear that thousands of officers have been involved in the policing operation. Now, PAP, that something about police, maybe? PAP China? People's Armed Police is a Chinese paramilitary force primarily responsible for internal security, riot control, anti-terrorism law enforcement. That's the People's Armed Police. So he says this is People's Armed Police. Let me show you this video posted by Jack Hazelwood.
Anna's one. I got 2 tapped. I don't know what happened. I just got discorded and headshot by McPhee. Monkey, can you see if you can get out trance? I can bubble you when you dive onto him, okay? Okay, I'm watching you right now. Okay, I have bubble again for you, Monkey. He's dead.
Oh, I almost got him off.
Yo, Lucio saved me. Oh my god, Frog, you're sick. Even no mech. Ryan might have Shatter. I don't know if we should grab mech. Monkey, we need to go on Zen. Or soldier. Get ready, I'm going.
Now again, I can't verify any of the individual videos. That was posted by Jack Hazelwood. He used to work for a publication in Hong Kong. But if that, I have seen a number of videos like that suggesting that there are lots and lots of police, riot police, out there trying to forcibly put down these protests, and also a number of reports from different news outlets suggest that is the case as well. And here is a couple more things here from Jack Hazelwood. He posted this. He said, "I've seen a lot more footage of the mass demonstrations in Wuhan, mainland China overnight." He posted this 9 hours ago. "Understandably, nobody wants to be credited with anything. This video appears to show riot police attacking bystanders."
Yeah, you can play.
And Jack also posted this. He said this video appears to show Chinese police assaulting people. This time, apparently demonstrators. Brutal scenes. So again, these protests, which are being widely reported as of the last day, again, to show you this, Times of UK, China sends in riot police over waste protests. South China Morning Post, thousands protest in central China over waste incineration plant. Riot police deployed after a week of unrest over proposed plant next to residential areas, echoing recent years' protests against incinerators elsewhere in the country. District government urges people to ignore rumors and says plant's location is yet to be finalized. New York Times, protests over incinerator rattle officials in Chinese city. Wuhan, China, protests, LA Times. So it's being widely reported that these protests are happening. Thousands protest waste incinerator plants in China's Wuhan. Wuhan is a city of about 10 million people. And it's in this part of China here, in eastern China. And specifically, the place where this protest is happening is the Yangluo residential district. Yangluo, which is a district in Wuhan, which is a major city, 10 million people, Wuhan. And we'll get into the details shortly, but the basic idea is people there, residents believe that the government is going to put in a waste-to-energy incinerator. That's a plant which burns garbage. It burns garbage, the plant, and it produces electricity. But a lot of residents in the town are worried that this plant is going to be built right near residential areas and bring pollution and health risks to people in the area. That's what they're protesting is they feel, and there was I guess it was around a week ago there was a scare that construction was starting on this plant. And so people really got upset and started protesting around a week ago, and those protests have continued for the last week. So we'll get into the details shortly. We'll also get some of your comments at Lookner on Twitter. You can reach me, but I do want to show you a couple more of the videos floating around. Jack Hazelwood posted a couple other videos. Now this one, I've seen this multiple places. Again, I can't confirm any of the videos. The best I can do is say that certain videos have been posted a lot of places, and videos haven't been refuted by people, but I can't individually confirm any of the videos. This is one I've seen posted multiple places. Jack Hazelwood says, in this undated footage, a crowd of demonstrators can be seen hurling bottles and other missiles at the police. The public discontent with the local government's decision to press on with the construction of the incineration plant is pretty clear.
Jump off!
And one more video here Jack posted.
Okay,
he said this shows People's Armed Police formations on the boulevard in Yangluo, where much of the clashes have taken place.
Any ice block? Just on the right, I think. On our creek, killer creek. May one no ice block.
All right, so I want to get some of the details here and also take your comments on the air. If you have comments, write to me on Twitter, at Lookner on Twitter. Again, major protests like this, very rare in China. They do not abide major protests. They don't want people getting ideas of civil unrest. They don't want resistance to the Communist Party government. They don't want a major protest in one city inspiring protests in other cities. And they don't want cities coordinating with each other. So this kind of thing is not, on a major scale, is not often seen. While there are regularly minor protests, there are not major protests like this that you hear about in China. Okay, so I'm going to give you more details shortly, but I do want to take some comments on the air. You can write to me with your comments at Lookner. Stefan Poikinen writes in and says, Wuhan has the worst air quality outside of northern China. It's one of 4 furnace cities, extremely hot, humid summers. A Chinese friend has told me before that the physical environment there is generally uncomfortable for these reasons. And, you know, generally China has had problems with pollution because they've been focused for decades now on just improving the economy there at breakneck pace. And China is well known for a lack of pollution controls and having a lot of pollution issues.
We're gonna shatter bomb.
See if I can find something about Wuhan specifically. Wuhan.
Get back in there, bitch.
Look it up. Did I get anything? This is from
I guess I got ammo out. Creep top left, creep top left.
Grist.org. I don't know of Grist.org. They say China's smog city, what Wuhan looks like with 20 times the U.S. dust limit. So supposedly these are pictures of Wuhan from several years ago.
I'm on fire. My ultimate is ready. Get in position.
Let's see if I can find anything else about this. This is China Daily 2014. Wuhan records worst air quality in country. Wuhan, the capital of Hubei province, suffered the worst air pollution at monitored sites in the country on Thursday. This is 2014.
Uh-oh.
Thank you, Stefan, for writing in.
I ate it.
Let's see here.
Step rider.
Oh, I got to open up our Facebook chat, too, and see what people are saying there. If you have comments, if you have questions as we talk about these protests in Wuhan, China, give me a shout at Lookner on Twitter.
Get shatter.
Hey, thank you so much, Miss Amy, for your donation to Agenda Free TV. I really appreciate that. Miss Amy, thank you.
And Moira's one to you. Nice. Moira's still low. I know for a fact.
Thank you. Courtney Lane is moderating our Facebook chat.
Punish Diva.
Courtney Lane.
Leave Diva. Do not kill it.
Patty Roberts
Whatever
says
you do.
the sounds of marching police is scary.
Kill
like
it. Can you
when
kill
we got
me?
to Tiananmen Square. Jamie Brown says China doesn't care about the environmental aspects of the fallout from chemical plants. Hannah Kin says Chinese people invest most of their savings into property. If the value of their property goes down, it's a big loss for them. And a big part of the protest cause is not just about health environment. Well, I have worried that that people, there are articles that mention this, we'll talk about this, where people who own homes are upset because they bought homes there, and now it looks like this polluting waste-to-energy plant, they believe is going to be built very close to where people live. Too close, they believe. Okay, let's read a little bit about this. Let's first read. This is a pretty brief article. Let's start with this one. This is from today. This is from South China Morning Post. Thousands protest in central, and then we'll show some more videos. Thousands protest in central China over waste incineration plant. Here's a photo. This is supposedly last night, Thursday night. People in Yangluo protest against the proposed incineration plant last night. Thousands of people took to the streets in central China last night in a 7th day of protests against the construction of a waste incineration plant. Protesters carried banners and chanted as they marched against a waste-to-energy plant that could be built next to residential areas in Yangluo, which is part of the city of district of Wuhan. Residents were angered by plans to build the plant on a garbage landfill site that had been expected to be turned into a public park. They shouted slogans such as "Return the Green Mountain and Clear Waters" and "Garbage burning plant, get lost" from Yangluo. And here's a photo. And South China Morning Post is based in Hong Kong. Riot police move in as protests continue in Yangluo on Thursday. That's yesterday, last night. A letter to the public by the Jinzhou district government on Wednesday had urged people not to listen to or spread rumors and said a location had yet to be finalized for the plant. What is rumored online to be the garbage burning project that has already started is in fact demolition work for a railway construction project, the letter said. So again, last week there was a scare where people believed in the town that in this neighborhood that the project was just going to start, that the government had just started this project, and the government now is denying, and they're saying no, we haven't started the project yet. What was rumored online to be the garbage burning project that already started is in fact demolition work for a railway construction project. Is that true? I have no idea. Converting waste to energy by burning it has been adopted in China as an alternative to burying rubbish in landfill sites, which causes pollution and requires a lot of land. But burning waste, burning garbage and turning it into energy has been widely resisted because of fears that it is a health hazard. Large protests against incinerators have been held in recent years in Zhejiang, Jiangsu, Hubei, Beijing, and Guangdong. A protester said, for years we had to put up with the disgusting smell of garbage of the landfill site, and we were all glad when we heard it would end next year, the protester said. Who declined to be named for fear of the consequences. All of a sudden, the park is gone, and a garbage burning site will be put there. Nobody can bear it. We understand the need to dispose of garbage in an environmentally friendly way, but does it have to be that close to our homes? 2 universities and more than 10 residential areas are within a 3-kilometer radius, said the man. Let me just finish this article here. It's almost over. Yanglo, designated as an economic and technology development area, is 18 miles northeast of downtown Wuhan and has a population of 300,000 people. The incineration plant would handle 2,000 tons of waste per day. Residents asked about the progress of the project in early June and were told that authorities were still choosing a site. But protests broke out last Friday after rumors spread the project had already started, forcing the government to say on Saturday that it would not start without approval from the public. Nonetheless, thousands of protesters, about 10,000 protesters according to one source, marched on Saturday and Sunday, leading to some arrests, although those detained on the weekends had since been released, protesters said. After minor protests on Monday and Tuesday, residents gathered in greater numbers in Yanglo on Wednesday and last night, met by a heavy police presence. Videos seen by the South China Morning Post show hundreds of riot police marching through the streets equipped with helmets, shields, and batons. The crowd last night dispersed at around 10 p.m. as police began to round up some protesters. They were taken aboard a coach and 2 men were handled roughly, the video showed. An official from the local government said the project would not begin without public approval and its location had not yet been chosen. So that's a summary of these protests. We're going to check out some more videos, supposedly, of the protests shortly. But if you have comments on this, write to me on Twitter @Lookner as we cover this week-long protest now in Wuhan, a major city in China, over over fears that a waste-to-energy plant will be built very close to residential areas, burn garbage, and people in the area are worried that it's going to be built too close to their residential areas. Christian Moutino made a donation. Christian Muntinu, and said, in China, old people do not receive pension as they are supported by children. What kind of sick people of their government allow this? Now, I'm not an expert on the Chinese pension system, so I can't confirm what Christian said. But Christian, I do appreciate your donation. Thank you so much, Christian. And I'm going to take some more comments from you guys. If you have comments, if you have questions, write to me on Twitter @Lookner. Stephen Batten, our viewer Stephen Batten says, I'll show you what he says. He says, what's the China police doing about it? Well, we've seen video and heard reports of large numbers, hundreds of riot police marching in there, and there's unconfirmed videos of the police, swinging their batons at people and roughing people up. Reportedly, people have been detained. The New York Times article talks about the tensions. Protests over incinerator rattle officials in Chinese city. If you go to the bottom here, it says, where does it talk about people being detained? Hold on. Let's go. I know it says it here somewhere. It's a long article. I don't want to add a bookmark. Don't add a bookmark. I want to just search the. I want to search the actual article. Detain. Here we go. Oh, that's not it.
Maze 1 HP, no crowd.
Here's a little. Yeah, here's a little summary of the protest activity here from the New York Times. They say. Residents of Wuhan, a city of about 10 million people, say the police have been detaining and taking away some protesters in vans, apparently targeting people who had urged others online to join the demonstration. So the idea is they go online, they see who's promoting the demonstrations, then they arrest them, or they take them away in vans. Now also, this was very interesting. According to the New York Times report, the government forced businesses to close at 6 p.m. across a fairly wide area last night before a protest, residents said. That left the police with a free hand to deal with protesters who could not flee into shops during sometimes violent confrontations. On Friday evening, that's tonight, a street market several blocks away had been allowed to reopen, but steel shutters were down at storefronts at the hub of protests, a gritty neighborhood of older concrete walk-up buildings. Hundreds of people milled quietly on sidewalks on either side of an avenue, sullenly eyeing more than a dozen large black police vans and buses with tinted windows. The show of force and the earlier detentions intimidated possible protesters to avoid further confrontations, said residents. Many plainclothes policemen were evident. Numerous young men in short haircuts stood at each street corner after sunset and watched the crowd while wearing identical outfits, black trousers, black t-shirts, and bright red vests, incongruously labeled Civilized Construction Tour Guide. So there is a heavy police presence in the area right now. You can see reports of vans, of police trucks, of plainclothes police, of riot police, of them forcing people to shut their stores so protesters can't hide in the stores. All that is reportedly going on. Hey, thank you, Urban Urban. I really appreciate your support, your donation, Ruben Urban, one of our moderators, Ruben Urban. Thank you. And thank you to all of our moderators. In our YouTube chat, we got Ruben Urban, Michael B. right now, Keisha Fowler, and we have Danny James, and we have Bridget. In our YouTube chat room, Linda Bell, JKD, Catsy, Paul Thomas in our Periscope chat as well, if I'm getting everybody in the mystery, and also I know Courtney Lane is in our Facebook chat and our Twitch moderators too. If you have comments, if you have questions, write to me on Twitter at Look. Cheryl Potachar says, is protesting allowed in China? So, what I can tell you is this: major protests are not allowed in China. I think protests in general are frowned on, but it does happen there. So let me show you a little bit more about that. I was reading something about that today. About their, they don't want protests, major protests in China. Like, this is from the New York Times article. China's leaders keep a very close eye on local protests over environmental concerns, mainly to make sure that they show no sign of being coordinated between cities. They are leery of any broader movement that could challenge the Communist Party's authority. So there have been regularly local protests in different parts of China over local issues. But they don't like major protests, and they censor information about the protests. They don't want people in China to be inspired to protest. So I don't know what their normal response is to a specific local protest here or there, but I know generally they do not like protests in the country, and anything major gets censored and put down. Our Our viewer Stefan writes in and says, Yanglo is at top far right of this metro map. Location on periphery of city. Wuhan in Yanglo is on Yangtze River, one of most polluted in world. Maybe population is extra reluctant to trust government due to massive degradation of Yangtze cleanliness. Well, you know, and I've read different articles talking about how the population doesn't trust the government because of what's happened in the past. Let's see if I can find something about that here. First of all, let me show you this. This is from the LA Times article. The protests indicated the depth of anger about environmental problems that directly affect people's quality of life after decades in which Chinese authorities sacrificed the nation's environment, air, soil, and water for the sake of breakneck economic growth. And they also say here,
Welcome to Hollywood.
some residents complained about the lack of transparency in the decision to build the plant and expressed fears that the operating company would sacrifice the interests of the people for the sake of profit. One person claiming to be from Wuhan neighborhood near a similar plant claimed it stinks every night when it processes the garbage. One cannot afford to open the window at night in summer.
Here I am.
Let me see if I can answer that question about. I saw something in an article. Here in the New York Times article it says, the dispute here highlights how more countries are having trouble coping with the vast quantities of trash produced by an increasingly affluent global population. So as people get wealthier in China, it produces more trash. Coming up with a solution is particularly tough in a country like China, where years of censorship and propaganda have left many people deeply distrustful of government assurances of the safety of incinerators. And then there's also something about, I read about they might not use the best technology here. This is New York Times. Older incinerators in China have been a source of emissions that can damage the body's nervous system. Such pollutants, particularly long-lasting substances like dioxin and mercury, are not only dangerous in China, but can also float on air currents across the Pacific, reaching as far as the U.S., according to atmospheric research based on satellite observations. Better incinerator technology that eliminates almost all emissions, already used widely in Europe, is now available in China, but it is many times more expensive to install. Chinese officials have tried hard to persuade the public that new incinerators are being built with such improved technology, but I'm guessing the public doesn't believe that. And again, in a country with pervasive censorship and intensive propaganda, many people deeply distrust the government's safety assurances on environmental issues.
Maybe.
All right, we're covering these again, just to go over this again. There are major protests being reported in China in the Yanglo district of the city of Wuhan. Wuhan is about 10 million people.
May week too.
These protests started last week when residents believed that the government was going to start construction on a garbage-burning incinerator that would create energy, a waste-to-energy garbage incinerator. And residents are very worried that this incinerator is going to be built close to their homes and put people at risk.
Go baby, do it before she gets back.
Also, one of our moderators, one of our chatters mentioned that could certainly reduce the value of their investment in their property. That would be the case as well. We're taking your comments and questions on the air. Also showing you some of the different videos that have come out about this. Let me show you some more on that. And I can't confirm the videos or the photos, whether they're accurate or not. All I can say is that I've seen a lot of the same ones out there, and also, a number of them are posted by accounts that would seem to have some idea of whether things are obviously fake or not.
Helping above.
All right, let's see here. Here's a video posted by... Now, I think this is a longer version, maybe of one we saw before. I'm not sure. But we didn't see this one. This is this account called Badukau.
Never run here.
Badukau says Chinese artist hated by the Chinese government. So Badukau says, video 1, Wuhan protest. A lot of police brutality can be seen during the protest. People are crying, return me the Green Mountain and clean water. Need more attention and support from the world.
Got blown up. Yeah, nanoed and wounded and shattered. It's okay, we take those just for this kind of stuff there. Oh shit. It's okay.
Okay, literally.
So they have both support with each other. Back.
Run real low.
That's mine. Cap is here. Yeah, big state. No.
Give us risk.
Yes. Fucking easy set. Take this. Easy peasy. Alright, nice.
So again, I can't confirm any of those individual clips. That they do look like other clips I've seen that have been posted reportedly of the Wuhan protests. It's actually a nice assembly of clips there. Check that out. Series
easy peasy.
Video clips.
Ball, can you pile drive? Wait, what about?
What about right?
Protests.
Ball, can you pile drive? I'm gonna hide near them.
Yeah, whatever I said here.
No one can hide.
Okay, so we are covering these protests. If you have comments, if you have questions, write to me on Twitter @Looker. I do want to mention this. There was one clip floating around of a tank, and there is somebody who posted on this who seems to be sympathetic to the protesters, but he says he doesn't believe that this is actually from this. So he said,
thankfully
tank
they're
footage
bad
shared,
enough not to
this is
capitalize
Carl
on
Jacques,
actual shatters.
who does seem sympathetic to the protesters. But he says tank footage shared on Chinese social media protests certainly has nothing to do with Wuhan protests. This is not Tiananmen Square all over again. In 2019, Chinese anti-riot police have sufficient manpower and equipment to handle most of the protests. So he doesn't think they're bringing in the military to stop this protest. And then here's a video he posted. I think we saw this earlier, where he said,
gonna put it. I think we need to
Welcome
just
to
win off the
Interesting
side.
Truth. This is your host, Sir Patrick Mactacular. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back and we got one.
Got the raid
right
bosses.
now. You don't even have time
Ready to go.
drink your coffee. Don't drink your coffee. Put it down and listen.
Running double shot.
No, I'm just kidding. You can take a sip. 38:60, 35 minutes after the hour
Killing him?
one. We see this very
I'm
familiar.
a bit surprised at how that much
Figured it out yet. It's
damage
not about
leaves
Trump's
the
corruption.
fucking
It's about
shit.
making sure you don't find out about their corruption.
Be aggressive, be aggressive.
Right
50
there, and I'm
clean
gonna
up.
tag on them today. I
Clean.
don't think that's
Not gonna
okay.
do that.
And the Twitter link takes you to Jackalus Jim Jordan, who says Democrats call on Barr to resign.
We get that reset, we get that
Barr is
reset.
fighting to hold the FBI accountable.
Oh,
for
Joe.
lying
Right
to
behind,
the
right behind.
FISA court. 17
Back
times.
over here.
I know.
You want to
All right, well, what the Jackalus one is referring to, of course, is Bill
That's fine.
Barr, who recently went
hold
on
default,
to
hold default.
ABC and publicly chided the POTUS regarding his tweeting habits.
Okay, He's gonna go run
playing
left.
top of hotel.
Things done.
Playing top of hotel.
Yep, he's gonna either jump off the fucking. He's gonna
POTUS
go
isn't
run statue with a
gonna do
punch.
that, right?
He's gonna
We've
go all
seen
the
a
way
very
around the left.
similar situation like this before. As a matter of fact, I pointed it out a
Play back
couple
at
of
point, back
years
at
ago when POTUS was going back and forth with then
He's coming
behind you.
Jeff Sessions, who was also trying to get some things done on the lay low, but was getting chided by the POTUS. And I want to make the same observation now that I did back then. which
Oh my
is
God, the
simply
Hunter
this. If Jeff Sessions
Oh, there's
or
supports
Bill
of
Barr
that.
truly had a problem with the POTUS,
I
they're
saw
right
it,
down
saw
the
it.
street and they
Look
can
at this
walk out
bitch.
and say so themselves.
Yes.
We're doing
Favor,
this out
favor.
here in the public narrative so that we can kind of create another public spin. Of course, we all know this, right? This is
slavery,
why
slavery.
we're looking at this meme that we're looking at. We know what this is all
That's
about.
fine, that's fine,
I
Second.
think that if POTUS really knew that his tweets were going to damage his own
Yeah, as soon
case,
as they start to actually
he
get
wouldn't
out,
do it.
that's what we're gonna kill.
and I'm sure
Totally
he
fine.
already knows that, and he's got plenty of advisors to tell him that. But instead, he's putting it all out on Front Street because the MSM is not. Hence the meme, right? Haven't you figured
back,
it out
back.
yet? It's not about Trump's corruption. And of course, Democrats are out there calling for Bill Barr.
Oh,
saying,
yeah, shut up,
now
pass the
they
shield,
see
you're gonna
this,
jump
they're
out the
not
shield,
really
shut
sure
up.
what to think. They don't know if this is a head fake. It looks like many of them are starting to catch on, but it doesn't seem like they're real sure.
Here,
So
tell
they
me when
don't
you have
know
Dragon
what
Circle
to do at
for
this point. That's why Nancy's looking like that. She's like, oh,
I need that information. I said pulling on it, statue.
She's like, I don't think that's okay. And Gerald Nadler's
Uh-oh.
like, I think I better go away. And Elijah Cummings is like, I heard you.
It's okay, come back. You speak with spawn.
Let's take a look at the video.
To have public statements and tweets made about the department, about our people in the department.
I'm gonna hold back. If you don't get
our
fucked by
men
Shatter
and
and come
women
out here.
here, about cases
Actually, no, I'm
pending
going
in
now.
the department, and about judges.
Hotel.
Make it impossible for me to do my job and to assure the courts, the prosecutors in the department that we're doing our work with integrity.
Mr. Barr,
That's not
the
unfortunate.
president does not like to be told what to do. He may not
Oh,
like
just
what
please
you
stop.
say.
On this one.
Prepared for those
I
verifications.
have no support.
Call targets, call
Of
targets.
course, as I said during my confirmation,
I didn't text you.
I came
Just
wait,
to
just wait,
serve as Attorney
Back,
General.
I'm almost back. I'm not gonna be able to touch the
I
somebody else
am
needs to touch.
responsible for everything that happens in the department,
But we just touched
but the
it.
thing I have most responsibility
Thank you,
for
Point.
are the issues that are brought to me.
Pulling the ship.
Specific decisions.
Ground weak.
And I will make those decisions
They're backing out,
based
they're backing
on
out.
what I think is the right thing to do, and I'm not going to be swayed or influenced
I don't know
by
if they bought
anybody
Dragon
else at a time, whether it's Congress,
Gunpoint, gun
newspaper,
minute.
editorial boards, or the president. I'm going to do what I
Well,
think is
those, yeah.
right.
Good week, good week, good week.
Man's left.
You know,
To them point. I can't.
I think I cannot do
Nice.
my job here at the department
Give us a little, wherever she is.
with a constant
Nice
backward
job.
commentary that undercuts me.
So there you have it,
I think
and that
Reaver
is
could
your
be
cue
touching.
pose. Now, it just sounds like a bunch of public yakety smackety to me to keep us
Hell yeah.
probably
Nice job,
talking about a
everybody.
few things for a few more days while other stuff is going on. You know how this kind of
Reaper
works.
should've
But
got
I did
way
find it
more
very
value.
interesting that the Jacketless one
Thanks,
made
Lee.
sure to all caps the 17.
I don't know, dude. He just stood still and I killed him.
Now let me give a shout out to
Nice.
Southern California. This is
Yeah,
from
I don't know what he's
Palmdale.
doing.
And thanks to a couple of Anons who shared this with me today on Twitter, Edwards Air Force Base officials are alerting the public to plan tests of an emergency alert system at Air Force Plant 42 in Palmdale on Friday. The system known as Giant Voice is an outdoor warning siren system used to broadcast alerts, voice signals, music, and tones during national, state, regional, and local emergencies. A similar system is in place at Edwards Air Force Base, officials said. The testing will occur intermittently between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. Friday, officials said. It is not yet known what specific sounds will be part of the test, whether it is sirens, voice commands, or other means of alerting people at the facility. No action will be required during the test. It is not yet known how far the Giant Voice sound will travel, so base officials wanted to alert the general public to the planned testing so that they are aware should they hear any of the tests of the emergency system. Air Force Plant 42 is a government-owned facility under the supervision of Edwards Air Force Base and home to several defense companies, including Northrop Grumman and Lockheed Martin. So there you have it. If you're hearing something in the area, you might know why, or if some other kinds of events happen in the area, you might have some insight. I would say that it sounds like a pretty routine thing. I know they check those systems fairly often, and there are quite a few companies that contract those systems out to military bases and government institutions and whatnot. So I don't really think it's anything nefarious, but just in case you hear something, you can see something and say something. Now here is something that is a little bit odd from the New York Post. Illinois pediatrician left suicide note saying he may have faked vaccinations. An Illinois pediatrician who took his own life left behind a suicide note revealing he falsified medical records and may have not vaccinated children, according to reports. The note left behind by Dr. Van, I don't know if that's Konis, a 58-year-old pediatrician who ran a practice in Evergreen Park, indicates he felt regret over fudging documents to show his young patients were immunized at the request of parents, the Chicago Tribune reports. The doctor was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound in September. Okay, so I gotta stop right here. First of all, self-inflicted gunshot wound. Hope it wasn't to the back of the head, right? And oddly enough, this happens in Evergreen Park. We've talked a lot about Evergreen. For those of you who are not aware of the reference, Q has referenced Evergreen, and we've been talking a ton about different kinds of things that are named Evergreen. There are a million things that are named Evergreen and that sound like it could be something that Q is referencing. But Q has been referencing Evergreen. But most importantly, Evergreen was the United States Secret Service code name for one Hillary Clinton. Now, I don't necessarily think that everything that happens on an Evergreen or in an Evergreen is referencing Hillary Clinton, but we're seeing a ton of stuff coming out in the news that just happen to sneak in the term Evergreen. And this is very strange because this guy self-inflicted gunshot wound, and he was falsifying medical records, but not giving people vaccinations and not telling them, which would seem to be the real nefarious act. He was not vaccinating them. So was he trying to protect these kids? Who knows? But either way, this guy wound up dead. He was well known for being someone who was into homeopathic medicine. Well, that might explain things, right? And from what we have determined, it was well known that people opposed to vaccination could go to him, Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart said. It's unclear how many juvenile patients may have been impacted, but Konis' note suggested that he either doctored records or doled out fake immunizations dating back 10 years. The note was very short, Dart told the station. It was a note where he expressed a lot of regret, and the note was solely driven at the fact that he did things he regretted as far as the vaccinations. He was incredibly regretful for what he did, and it was the only thing he mentioned in the suicide note. It was this and only this. And we're going to stop right there again, because if it were this and only this, it just doesn't add up. People who leave suicide notes usually mention people they love or whatnot. This seems all kinds of strange. And it would seem like if he was really doing the right thing, I would have a hard time believing that all of a sudden he would be filled with regret. Like I said, the actual nefarious act would seem to be giving vaccinations to people and not telling them. So something just doesn't add up with this. It seems very strange that this again happens in Evergreen. And I also want to point out that although this is a very large county, Cook County is also the same county where we are dealing with the Jussie Smollett case and, of course, the R. Kelly case. But I'm sure all of that is just coincidence. A couple more strange things about this story. If you go down to the bottom, this Sheriff Tom Dart says, "I don't care about your personal feelings on vaccinations. Kids need them," Dart told the Tribune. "You can't waive them arbitrarily. You clearly can't forge documents or encourage them to be forged and pass them on. So we're moving along that track." Okay, well, fair enough, Mr. Law Enforcement, but Mr. Law Enforcement sounds like he's a little bit Mr. Policy, right? Talking about vaccinations. And I don't necessarily want to debate vaccinations itself, the subject of that. All I want to point out is that this man is now dead. And it seems like he was known as a homeopathic doctor who would probably be against vaccinations, or at least maybe inclined to stay away from them if possible, right? So was that the reason that he was doctoring all these records and not vaccinating these kids? Was he really trying to care for these kids, trying to keep them from getting sick? Did he know something about these vaccinations? I suppose it's also possible that in some nefarious deed, he decided to not vaccinate these kids in order to get them sick, and now he just feels bad about it. That doesn't seem to make as much sense to me, but I guess we can allow for it to be possible. Either way, it seems like he had a little change of heart, or did he? What's very curious to me about this whole thing is that this suicide note seems to only focus on the topic of vaccinations and not his family, not his kids, the kind of things that you would think somebody who really cared, a homeopathic doctor, probably cares about his own family, right? You'd think there'd be at least a shout out, but no. We have this narrative, and of course we have Sheriff Tom Dart kind of echoing the same sentiment. Hey man, you can't do this. You've got to get vaccinated. That's the thing to do. So I find all this very curious. On top of that, this happened in September. So what was going on? Why are we just hearing about this now? And of course, it gets me thinking about the coronavirus. And of course, they just started talking about that in Chicago. This is from 46 minutes ago. State and city officials met in Chicago's Chinatown to reassure the city that the risk of catching coronavirus is minimal. And I just put a search on here, so these are just a bunch of random tweets here. Alan says, "My son and I went to Chinatown in Chicago for dinner after feeding the homeless. We were the only ones in the entire restaurant on a Friday evening. Seems everyone is afraid of the coronavirus." A press conference will take place tomorrow on the 13th at 11 a.m. at the Chinatown Library with updates from city, state, and county health officials on the response to the 2019 novel coronavirus. There you go. So stay safe, Chicago. This seems like a very sketch story. Seems like they are possibly trying to inject, unintended, a vaccination narrative. And again, like I said, please don't go attacking me saying I'm an anti-anything. I'm just pointing out that this is very suspect and that it's all going down at the time of this whole coronavirus thing. Now, let me take you back to one last thing. This is actually a post from yesterday, 3856. And we were talking about Renegade being Barack Obama and Evergreen being Hillary Clinton. These are their United States Secret Service code names. For those of you who didn't catch it, you can check out my video from yesterday. But again, we were talking about this Evergreen, right? Hillary Rodham Clinton's United States secret code name. So in this, we saw that the standard definition is spelled correctly, but down below here, where Hugh mentions non-standard definition, we're missing an I. Non-standard definition. We've been seeing missing I through quite a few different things, and really over the years. Some cases it was an I or an E being replaced. Sometimes it's an I and a P, meaning that I would probably think that we're talking about some sort of missing intellectual property. But either way, we have this I missing, and it reminds me of this post, 753, and this was from 2 years ago, 13th of February. Think image drop, think op. Now, op could be referring to a military op, but it could also be referring to original post, and that's per Q. Think United, when does a bird sing? Everything has a meaning, and then we have that I in brackets. So that was nearly 2 years ago, and then of course 2 years later, we get this tweet from Donald J. Trump. Devin Nunes predicts that more examples of Mueller team misconduct will be revealed in coming weeks. So it seems that in this case we have this I and E conflict going back and forth. I'm not exactly sure what it means. I think a lot of times about the CIA, the way Q refers to the CIA with the missing I, are we talking about some sort of intelligence? I'm not exactly sure. There's been a lot of different talk and I haven't really seen anything concrete. but I did want to point it out for you, and those are your key posts. All right, Patriots, that's all I got for you at the moment. As always, if you like this video, please click like, share, and subscribe. Thanks to all of you who do that already. If you're new to this channel, please keep in mind that from time to time you're going to get unclicked and unsubscribed. So just do me a favor and check yourself back. I'm aware of it. It happens all the time. Just do me a favor and re-click yourself and ding that bell, and hopefully you'll get some sort of notification. I appreciate it. And all my alternate links are down below. My Gab, my BitChute, my Twitter, my Brighteon, my Dropspace, all that good stuff is all linked down below. If you've got information for me, please email me. That is also linked down below. My P.O. box is down below if you want to send something old school. And if you'd like to support the channel, my Patreon is linked down below. It's all down below, and I am out of here. Until next time, stay funky.
Some Republicans, sir. Some Republicans, sir.
It's been 17 years since the last time a president from Ecuador visited the White House and a president of the United States did an official visit.
And when was it?
When was it? 17 years ago. It was.
17 years ago. It was.
Score 2-2. Prepare to attack. Select your hero.
Come on, let's bring it together. Ooh.
I can't wait to get into the fight.
Attack commences in 30 seconds.
A giant gorilla, just like in those old video games.
In Pursuit of Truth, this is your host, Sir Patrick Mactacular. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and we got one key post, and we're going to get on it right now. You don't even have time to drink your coffee. Don't drink your coffee, put it down, and listen. No, I'm just kidding. You can take a sip. 3860, 35 minutes after the hour 1, we see this very familiar meme right here. Haven't you figured it out yet? It's not about Trump's corruption. It's about making sure you don't find out about their corruption. And there's the crew right there. And I'm not going to bag on them today because I don't think that's okay. And the Twitter link takes you to Jackalus Jim Jordan, who says Democrats call on Barr to resign. Really? Bill Barr is fighting to hold the FBI accountable for lying to the FISA court 17 times. I know. All right, well, what the Jackalus one is referring to, of course, is Bill Barr, who recently went on to ABC and publicly chided the POTUS regarding his tweeting habits, right? He was like, hey, I'm trying to get some things done. Stop it. Stop it. Stop tweeting. Anyway, POTUS isn't going to do that, right? And we've seen a very similar situation like this before. As a matter of fact, I pointed it out a couple of years ago when POTUS was going back and forth with then AG Jeff Sessions, who was also trying to get some things done on the lay low, but was getting chided by the POTUS. And I want to make the same observation now that I did back then, which is simply this. If Jeff Sessions or Bill Barr truly had a problem with the POTUS, they're right down the street and they can walk down and say so themselves. They're doing this out here in the public narrative so that we can kind of create another public spin. And of course, we all know this, right? And this is why we're looking at this meme that we're looking at. We know what this is all about. And I think that if POTUS really knew that his tweets were going to damage his own case, he wouldn't do it. And I'm sure he already knows that, and he's got plenty of advisors to tell him that. But instead, he's putting it all out on Front Street because the MSM is not. Hence the meme, right? Haven't you figured it out yet? It's not about Trump's corruption. And of course, Democrats are out there calling for Bill Barr's head. Now they see this, they're not really sure what to think. They don't know if this is a head fake. It looks like many of them are starting to catch on, but it doesn't seem like they're real sure. And so they don't really know what to do at this point. That's why Nancy's looking like that. She's like, I don't know what to do. Wasn't expecting that to do that today. And Adam Schiff's like, I don't think that's okay. And Gerald Nadler's like, I think I better go away. And Elijah Cummings is like, I already did. We should move on. Let's take a look at the video.
To have public statements and tweets made about the department, about our people in the department, our men and women here, about cases pending in the department, and about judges before whom we have cases, make it impossible for me to do my job and to assure the courts and the prosecutors in the department that we're doing our work with integrity.
Mr. Barr, the president does not like to be told what to do. He may not like what you're saying. Are you prepared for those ramifications?
Of course, as I said during my confirmation, I came in to serve as Attorney General. I am responsible for everything that happens in the department, but the thing I have most responsibility for are the issues that are brought to me for decision. And I will make those decisions based on what I think is the right thing to do, and I'm not going to be bullied or influenced by anybody. And I said at the time, whether it's Congress, newspaper, editorial boards, or the president, I'm going to do what I think is right. And, I think I cannot do my job here at the department with a constant background commentary that undercuts me.
So there you have it, and that is your Q post. Now, it just sounds like a bunch of public yakety-smackety to me to keep us probably talking about a few things for a few more days while other stuff is going on. You know how this kind of works. But I did find it very interesting that the jacketless one made sure to all caps the 17. I know. Now let me give a shout out to Southern California. This is from Palmdale, and thanks to a couple of Anons who shared this with me today on Twitter. Edwards Air Force Base officials are alerting the public to planned tests of an emergency alert system at Air Force Plant 42 in Palmdale on Friday. The system, known as Giant Voice, is an outdoor warning siren system used to broadcast alerts, voice signals, music, and tones during national, state, regional, and local emergencies. A similar system is in place at Edwards Air Force Base, officials said. The testing will occur intermittently between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. Friday, officials said. It is not yet known what specific sounds will be part of the test, whether it is sirens, voice commands, or other means of alerting people at the facility. No action will be required during the test. It is not yet known how far the giant voice sound will travel, so base officials wanted to alert the general public to the planned testing so that they are aware should they hear any of the tests of the emergency system. Air Force Plant 42 is a government-owned facility under the supervision of Edwards Air Force Base and home to several defense companies, including Northrop Grumman and Lockheed Martin. So there you have it. If you're hearing something in the area, you might know why, or if some other kinds of events happen in the area, you might have some insight. I would say that it sounds like a pretty routine thing. I know they check those systems fairly often, and there are quite a few companies that contract those systems out to military bases and government institutions and whatnot. So I don't really think it's anything nefarious, but Just in case you hear something, you can see something and say something. Now, here's something that is a little
Give you a
bit
kiss if
odd
you
from
don't
the
play
New
Sigma,
York
'cause Sigma is
Post.
really mad
Illinois
right now.
pediatrician left suicide note saying he may have faked
Very good, very
vaccinations.
good.
An Illinois pediatrician who took his
I indeed have been playing all day. I'm trying to get this stupid ass account out of this rank. I'm almost there.
Hey, yo, 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 yo.
Attack commences in 30 seconds.
Ramen Rider, I will literally give you the fattest kiss if you get
Oh,
off
so you
Sigma,
can play it
'cause
on
it's
the
terrible.
PS4. I see.
An Aspect, I need you to play Reinhardt.
Hey, how many games? That would suck, man.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because I have a bunch of games on the PSN
I've played in
network.
Masters for a total of 9,
For the-
almost 10
for the
hours
PS1?
actually today. I don't want to play more Masters.
For
It's so
PS3
bad.
though.
You hear what I said?
You know,
Please don't play
like
Sigma.
on my
He's
PS3.
dog
It sucks.
Said he'll kiss you if you
I don't have a PS4.
He'll literally kiss you.
So that
Oh,
really
that's a
sucks.
little
I
bit
hope
better.
that
Not what
when
I
they
was
get the
hoping for, but
PS5,
better.
that I can transfer.
Hey, what up?
If they do that, I'll probably buy it. I mean, if I can transfer all my data, because I bought a bunch of games on the PSN network, like all like the PS1 classics and stuff.
Can
I
they
bought a
not bubble
bunch
their
of
Widow?
them. So it's like if I could transfer that and play them on the PS5.
Oh my god.
That'd be nice.
I'll kill Widow, give me a second.
They bubble there, so. Okay, there's a Zarya on me in the back, please.
Yeah.
I dropped. Help me, ball. Thank you.
There's a Zarya behind you guys, right?
Oh, I got body blocked by Lucio.
I hope not. I hope not. I hope they're gonna get. You know what? I kind of feel like they can't afford to like fuck up really on this next gen because they really need to pull out all the stops. And
I got doinkied. Why are you on Winston? Just go Diva. Literally go Diva and contest Sniper's high ground. It's free.
bring people around.
The Widow's far.
From just building, building another PC. It's either building a PC or, you know.
Widow one.
I got Widow half.
Yeah.
I can't do anything. The Widow's.
Yeah, they did say that, right? They
We
did say
got
it's
Widow.
going to be
Just play
backwards compatible.
Don't play Windows.
So I hope.
Okay, I just died in Dragon.
Like I said, if they do like, if I can play all my PS1 games on my PS4 that are on the PSN network, it doesn't even have to be. I could put the disc in. That would be nice
Did they
too,
grab that fight?
right? But just like at least PSN network,
I thought they
that
did.
would be
I
fun.
thought they grabbed it.
It's shattered and dragoned.
And they bat windowed.
Yes. Let's get it. Let's go.
Go, go, go. That's really good. Just play passive until beat runs out. It's free.
Coming.
You get the bat.
They just announced already fucked up stuff. The controllers will have a mic. And PS5
I can't see
has
you.
an Alexa type voice
I
AI.
got
Oh,
it
it does? Oh my god. So it's gonna be listening to all your conversations. Like the paywall AI on PlayStation. Oh, that's horrible. You won't get a PS5. So what is the Xbox? Is there any news on the next Xbox or maybe the next Xbox will be a thing?
Hanzo's one.
But anyway, you know what? I have
I got a lot of kills there.
I know it's gonna sound. I have some inside
Just Hanzo
information
and Reinhardt.
Hands are on. Hands are on.
that there's somebody I know.
know how
He
we lost
works
that.
like in the industry. He's like an
Keep
ad.
getting headshotted every
and
time
a
I walk around
logo
the corner.
maker and an ad for video games, and he's doing a lot of projects. He said for Sony that are coming in for PS5. I can't say too much. He couldn't even say too much, but he told me this, that Sony's doing a lot. That they're gonna be doing like he said, just watch out. They're gonna be bringing a lot to the table. I don't even know what it is. He just said like So that's what. At least that's good news. So, but yeah, I mean, for me anyway. I mean, I trust the guy. So like, I hope that it plays out that way.
Did you get good spawn?
Yes, sir.
How to beat it based on what other players did? Oh, really? Holy shit. Okay. Well, I don't know, in some ways. Well, I hope they... As long as it doesn't interfere with your gaming experience, and if like you want to put it in there, you can. And it enhances it in some way. Then who knows? I don't know.
Yeah,
Sounds more gimmicky to me than anything. Who gives a fuck about these gimmicks? They should just focus on the games. Just focus on. You know, I don't really give a shit. Like their whole thing was like, oh, we're gonna have an SD card in there. Like it's like fuck, dude. You know how long we've been using SDs on our? Who cares? What we want is games. I mean, that's a good thing, you know, like, that's what we want, but
fuck it, get some picks.
To be like, you know, like at that time, they were making like
Where's Lamb?
Like, I'd rather hear about a new game that you're gonna have on your console, rather than, you know, that should be like a side thing. Just, yeah.
Okay.
Freeze right side.
New Xbox is gonna be awesome, but I love Xbox anyway, so. What do I know?
Okay, Diva's not gonna
hey, what's up, Drew Pitfall? My man.
I'm dead. There's Zarya and everybody.
Always brings good quality. It's an excuse to monitor and steal data, Google style. I see. That's probably what it is. True, the gamers are really the only thing that matters. The games, yeah. Last of Us 2 is going to be awesome. Been shit for years.
Here we go.
That won't change.
It's 2 dead. That's both.
Done too.
What I'm saying is, like, if you notice, like, because like last year was like, it seems like the strategy is too much on the hardware, and like in the end of the day, for the consoles, who gives a shit? Because when the PCs are already like, I mean, PCs are already way like more powerful and faster than these consoles. So you need to market it in a different way. You need to give us games. You need to be like, look what we have. You can't get anywhere else, you know. So anyway,
so Diva, what tanks do you play? Because it's very,
that's what
very,
I was
very
told.
apparent
I was told by somebody who's inside that was like telling me that that Sony's working on all these like projects that it sounds like exclusives, exclusive games, you know. That I'm like
inside the cart. Overwatch
down.
is what happened because Overwatch is a
down.
fun game that's
I hope
esports ready.
That's the case, because I kind of felt like, you know, they need to be pumping more of these exclusive games out. Ares went. Okay, we're going to the
No, you did fine. You blocked Shatter and some other stuff.
weapon shop, and then we're going to the rat's nest.
Zen or
Okay.
Lucio?
Weapon shop.
Lucio.
Definitely Lucio.
After the GameCube,
That ain't
and have
even a
not
question,
looked back.
that's
They can keep their
I'll give you a
exclusives.
little tip, brother. You ever play Zen?
Hey, look, I don't blame
Just
you,
don't.
because it's like Like
Yeah,
whatever
but
they
you're
like.
masters. Sometimes it
in
works.
some ways, right? Like
yeah, but
whatever
Lucio
the
is just
whatever consoles do have as an exclusive so far.
Agreed.
Like PC has something to counter it. You know, even if it's not the same. But yeah, like what my only thing for like the last generation was like where the PS4 is like.
How many total chickens do you have in gym?
An Xbox
just
One was
my
just
main.
not
This
enough.
one-
You're not Goblin,
Yes, there
right?
were. I'm not saying there
yeah,
weren't.
Goblin, yeah.
Because someone's gonna be like, dude,
Yeah,
there
come
was
This one.
But
I'm
I'm
probably
saying there's
gonna
just
have
not
3
enough.
total
Like
eventually. Like this one, my main.
when
and
you
then I'm gonna make
compare
another
what
one
you can get on the
eventually. If this
PC,
one, like if this
yeah.
one hits 4.4, then I'm gonna make another one.
And there just needs to be more for us to come out and be like, dude, I'm gonna go get
How many
that.
people
There's
like
a
you,
reason to go get that
tell
system
right
over
off the
there.
bat,
'Cause
oh,
there's
no,
just
don't
these
play
games that they look awesome, and I
Nobody
can't
actually
get
tells me that.
on my PC.
Really?
I just can't play them.
Yeah, unless I get a really low lobby, like a 3900.
Yeah, like I would assume that shit
Needs to be
happens.
more of that.
Yeah, actually,
So
on
I'm
this
just-
account,
I'm just
I've heard it
wanting more goodness.
I heard
You
it
blame
more
me?
in like my
I
first
just want
10
more
games on this account
good.
than I have the entire thing on my main.
You blame me?
On the right side.
Like the only time I have people complaining about my pick is normally like
Oh, that
either
seemed like a long.
low SR players or
What was
if I
that
get,
all
like,
about? That was a
those
long.
Games, there's EU players.
Yo, East Coast games are shit, dude.
Okay,
Yeah,
go to
well,
the
especially, like, when
plant
there's
and
new
then go
players,
to
you love to complain.
Yo, right side.
the Jackal's land.
How's it right
Okay.
side? Or Widow's right side, I mean?
Okay.
Get the Widow.
Widow's low, I
Sound
remember
too
the
bad.
Cheetah. Right.
The Switch was a huge. See, I think
come
the
talk to you.
hardware, like it was a gimmick, but at least they still like. See,
Switch
Nintendo
is-
is always gonna
Switch is-
sell because they have their games that you can't play anywhere else. They have their
Just
own
back,
games.
back,
Like
back,
you're
back.
not gonna play Mario anywhere else. You're not gonna play any of that shit.
Yeah,
You know?
fair.
So it's still they have their
Sorry, right side.
you know they have their brand, their style, and I think that's what like
Yo, sorry,
the other they need more of. They need their own style and just more expensive.
Hunter's right
Switch
side.
sucks, but say that to Nintendo fanboys and they yeah, it does.
please
It's
follow
such a
this
gimmick,
guy,
isn't it?
anyway.
It's just a gimmicky console. It's like who gives a shit? Like you could get I don't know. But they still have their
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
you know
I'm
they
with
still
you.
have their games.
You're good.
They're-
You don't need a hard shield this. As long as she's not spamming you, you're fine. She's so one. I doinked her. My turret
Yeah.
was killed. Oh, I got her.
Stop
Nice.
pre-ordering
Oh my god.
Oh, pin the
at
right. Pin the right.
Borderlands.
You're massive.
Yeah, I don't pre-order anything anymore.
Yeah, the Lucius one.
Yeah,
The
I
Lucius one
don't.
card.
There's like what's the rush for unless it's like a really big deal.
Tell me when the Hunter flanks.
Like
I don't wanna get
RE3
fucking
I'm probably gonna get and beat day one.
They have grab here, they have grab.
You know?
Whatever it is.
But that's just I'm just like a huge I mean it's a tradition for me really. Like Resident Evil is a huge tradition in my
Oh no,
family.
big wall.
It goes
actually.
a long way. It goes way back.
No,
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 he
they
did.
walled them.
You got the beat, but that's actually ginormous.
This your first playthrough of Shadowrun? Yeah.
Yeah, he
Of
gets
this
about
one,
what
yes.
they call it, we just couldn't get there in time to follow up.
I already beat the Super Nintendo one.
Main walk, main
Never
walk.
beat
We can get into the
this
fight.
game,
Get into the fight.
but
No, no,
I
no,
love this
don't
game
die, don't-
already.
Yeah, just
I
hard
really
die.
like it. It's awesome.
I'll be back fast.
Don't play too aggressive, just play live.
The Zarya walked right past me,
Dragonfall? Yeah, no, I can't wait because I already beat the Super Nintendo version. After this one, I'm gonna play the PC versions of the game finally.
Okay, just reset. Just
Just
reset.
gotta die.
We're gonna get long spawn. They're gonna get it more than halfway.
I never played RE without the nostalgia. The
It's not that bad. If they push it
I
to
just
corner,
died.
big
I
deal.
just died.
it's really strong.
Well, I still play RE actually. I still enjoy them. Maybe it's nostalgia goggles.
Okay,
I
do we
don't
have
know.
alternate that we can win with?
I don't think so. I love the gameplay in RE. All of, like the first 3 RE games. For me, I just love that the balance of the inventory system with the.
May's high ground, May Hanzo high ground, May Hanzo high ground.
I just like the whole thing. I
Muy
like the
interesante.
music, everything just keeps it pops, man.
What?
It hits all the right chords for me.
Yeah, they won that.
Man, I couldn't get away with touch.
Is it's unfortunate.
Kind of like this game. Like this game's hitting some chords
They just
right
have
here
way
for
more
me,
take
man.
presence
This
than we
game's hitting the spot.
Yeah, it's
You
rough.
know.
Play of the game.
I'm gonna remember where I was when I played Shadowrun for the Sega Genesis. No. Stars RE3 monster. What was that dude's name? Oh, Nemesis. Yeah. Yeah, I still play all those games. Like every year I'll play RE. I'll play probably all 3 of them at least once every year. Okay, was it this? No, this was the other area.
Prepare your defenses.
Yeah.
Select your hero.
Hello.
My name is Dog. How are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Konnichiwa.
Oni-chan.
This guy.
Lucio, you sound depressed.
Do I? I don't think I am suppressed. I feel pretty happy
Yes.
right now. I got a
guess I'm
nap
going
at
in
2
here
p.m. today,
first?
and it's so nice.
Oh, I was going in here first.
I see.
And then... No, that's the Halloweeners. Oh!
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Okay. Dude, I can't wait, man. RE3 is gonna be sick.
I can't wait to get into the fight.
It is gonna be damn good. I mean, Jill looks like Ronda Rousey a little bit, and Carlos looks like a bum, but I don't care.
Defend objective
Time to raise my DPS.
Oh, I can't even carry this anymore. Wow, I must have so many. I must have max. Oh, okay. I think it's the bar.
Diva one?
Widow's one.
Yeah. Out of space,
Help me.
right? I'm gonna go sell it.
He's literally one. The Genji's literally one going to Mega. Am I right?
Wait.
Let's go sell all that
Oh, I
shit.
probably should have gone in, shouldn't I?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yo, Genji behind us.
Let's
Wow,
do
look
it.
at that. We just
Oh,
keep
killed
picking
myself.
up these med
Alright, Dad.
kits.
Give me pocket, please. Oh.
They're Anna's half.
What about? I'm coming back. Never mind.
We don't need them. We don't need them. They don't really do much, really. There you go. Stacking the karma is good money, yeah. I mean, think if you sell 5, I mean, I think we just made 500 right there.
Hey, guy.
500 something. It's
So
pretty good.
we can have a Ryan, Lucio. I have my thingy today.
Okay, we're
Genji
going
has
to the
blade.
Rat's Nest, then we're going to the
Look at
weapon
Lucio.
shop.
I mean,
Rat's
you know,
Nest,
Let's
weapon
push
shop.
car, push car. I'm dead.
Okay. So we could get higher, right? We just need more negotiation skill or points.
I'm gonna stop after him.
Gave me the package. And that package is to weapon shop, right?
Pressure on my dick. Help me.
I'm gonna have to end up shooting that guy once. There you go. Oh yeah. Stacking the karma, man, is the best on the early run. Yeah. Yeah, we did like a lot of goal runs already. Right now I'm just trying to stack the karma. Actually, I'm doing whatever work he gives me. Right now, we're just like stacking the karma, and I got a bunch of money, so I can buy the
Okay,
what is that
one
thing
behind you
called?
guys.
Derma plate or the armor. We're gonna get the. I already have level 2 armor, so I'm gonna get level 3.
Give me. Yeah, blade again. Up our Ryan, up our Ryan.
Okay, so here it is.
What do you have? Christian up both.
Dermal plating. That's what it's called. Dermal. Okay. Yeah.
Lucio one.
We're gonna upgrade that for sure.
Monkey. Up here.
We have the money too, so yeah, why not, right? Might as well just do it now.
Okay, better than
Go
me.
to the
Just because-
Chiba spot.
Swap twos with you.
They're gonna come up on. Oh,
And
they have
then,
brick now.
Moira.
They're gonna armor him and then send him in. with Blade.
Okay, so we're going to the Jackal's Lantern, right? And we're taking it to the Rat's Nest.
I can go McCree after.
Okay, Jackal's Lantern is over here.
Monkey no jump?
Shit. The monkey's gone.
Son of a bitch. They never stop. They never stop.
No Blade.
And then the Rat's Nest. Max the clips too?
Here.
Okay.
Tracer has pulled. Or our Tracer, sorry. Monkey's
There
right
you
now.
go. Oh shit. Love it. On my own.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good.
Maybe I'll even hire that dude to come with me. Even though he has nothing. I can buy stuff for him, no?
Hope alright.
That shaman. And he does something, right? Like he can be a good distraction.
Nice. Okay, one.
Oh yeah, wait a
Let me
minute.
kill
Let's
him.
just go buy the dermal plane.
Sorry, I think I broke my M1. I'm too light.
He's pretty weak. Okay, so never mind.
Thank you, Tracer. I guess they're trying to counter a Tracer.
They're pushing.
C9? C9?
What? What the fuck?
Look at that. We just keep picking up these.
Sure.
these
The Tracer has
hits.
posted about 10. What?
Okay.
Was someone trying to say something?
We need
Yeah,
cyberware,
stay on
and
top
we're
for a
gonna
while.
get.
Let you stay on the cart for a while.
Yes. What else do we need? Okay, so we have Cyber Eyes already. We have a Data Jack. We have Razor Hands. We don't have Spurs, but
There's a
I'm not
couple
sure
people on
we
top.
need that. We have the Smart Link. We do not have Muscle Replacement.
McCree, right side.
Maybe we should get that. Did you guys think of that? We have wired reflexes, implanted neural boosters, and adrenaline stimulus, which increases combat speed. Wow. Okay.
Lucky.
Next implants are 3 quick reflexes. Okay.
Oh.
Smart Link is good for weapons later. I see. And get Winston. He is a beast. Okay, for the next level. Do not get muscles? Okay. So don't worry about muscles. We're good, right? So we got the dermal plating up to 3. Looks like we're okay now. Spurs? What about Spurs? Are we going to ever need to switch these? I don't know if I is there ever a situation where you have to, like, go combat? Okay, okay, you're right. I would have to, like, work on that, right? Okay. Cool. If you manage your clips. You're royally without a gun, I see, yeah. You just have to keep buying the clips. So far I haven't, I've been okay with it. I've run out a few times, but hasn't been serious.
No problem.
Okay. And how many clips can you buy? Because you could buy a shitload.
I'll bet. Whatever.
Let me see. Look, I got 16 clips.
We're gonna run down. Go
But
top.
yeah, before I leave this area, I'm definitely going to.
We're not with you.
I'm definitely going to. 20. Okay.
Oh, that one?
Definitely going to max it out. Because I do understand that somebody told me.
901.
That it gets more expensive in the other areas, so this is the cheapest place to get clips.
They have no nade?
Okay.
Full point. Heals down. Drop.
It says,
We're 6.
Give it 1.
my thing says, get a job, loser.
On a sleep, on a low, no sleep.
So then one.
Okay, I'm looking for work. Okay, Halloweeners. And we're taking it to the greenhouse. Halloweeners, then greenhouse.
Soldier 1.
Every
Soldier
few
literally 1.
runs.
Touch it, please.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm being flagged! Kill this bitch ass Korean.
Good job, guys.
Get her, get her.
Yeah.
3 in car, 3 points. I have my ult.
Yeah, I'll full them.
Use it.
But we're good, we're good.
I walk up. More, I knew it.
Okay.
Let's go.
Go, 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 go.
Right
go,
before
go.
we leave, because right now we're not really, we're not in danger.
I'm stuck.
Should I stay on
Yeah,
point?
before I leave, I'm gonna max out for sure.
Yeah.
See, we got these guys.
Go with him, Orisa. Go with him.
Oh, that was such a good shot.
Oh, fuck, I missed my bolt.
Okay.
Ah!
It's the Halloweeners. The Wieners.
Dude, Anna
Ready to move? I think so.
purples me every time.
Oh, I misclicked my flash.
I think we are.
Oh, got a fucking tornado in there, Mike.
I'm gonna use window next corner. This one.
Greenhouse, okay.
You
I'm
have.
just trying to stack up the karma. We're gonna build up the
Use
points
the-
so we can be strong in the next area too.
Anybody make?
No, monkey,
You gotta be
monkey.
strong, you know?
And the monkey.
So I'm taking advantage.
Only more?
Yeah. Okay, we're going.
They
No,
have
we
a
don't
Ryan
need this.
Diva now.
Let's go see. I'm curious. We have 23 karma points.
Anna's holding right side.
Brave.
I can beat Anna if you
23,
want.
sirs. Intelligence. Intelligence. Strength.
Tuning.
And let's see. Strength.
Choose one.
Choose one, baby.
So we maxed out all of these. Even intelligence is maxed. I think the only thing left is
Get this on it.
reputation. I want to get the reputation maybe a little up.
Check right. Ryan is to the right.
Ryan's on right. Yeah,
Willpower.
Reaper TP left side.
Okay, I'm gonna use the window as soon as I get it.
And faster, right? Yeah.
You're
okay.
fine, Orisa. I'm
So
gonna give you
willpower
more
is
money.
next.
Or
Okay.
Brig low.
We don't need magic because we're not doing magic. So I guess
Big one, big
willpower
one.
will be the
Big
next
low.
thing.
Nice.
Okay.
Save me.
So we gotta go willpower. Should we do some
Tracer recall.
another one of these negotiation? We'll just see. I just want to. I'm gonna just keep stacking on the karma.
Anna's on the left.
Reaper. Brig next. Brig.
Stack on that karma.
Reaper low. Nice. The Brig if you can.
I'm dead. You don't have enough kills.
So we
You're
got
only three
nothing else
right
to
now.
buy here, pretty much.
4 5.
We could buy information though. Isn't there some? Aren't they selling like
Your ass.
some really expensive information, like the boss?
Straight. Help me.
You don't have my heal.
I'm beating it.
Is magic defense and combat success? Okay, good. Yeah, you were probably gonna need
This
that
one.
I'm almost there.
when we
For
face
immortal point.
enemies that can do magic.
Yeah, that's the point.
Okay, go to the rat's nest and the jump house.
Sure.
Sure.
So just go to the rat nest and back here.
Oh, you know those back
Are we
cracks?
staying this comp?
You know those like back crack is where you crack your entire back.
Okay.
It was so good.
We fried. Smoke him.
I don't know if Reaper is a good counter for us.
Okay.
Sorry?
You mean the Johnson and that the bar? Old Tony? That's what I call him. I call him Old Tony.
I know Mercy.
I like your Ana.
Okay, let's go
I'm
talk
gonna
to old
stick with
Tony.
you too, because they're gonna be running monkey.
Nobody knocks off old Tony.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody knocks
Any
off
weebs
old
in the
Tony.
chat?
Any what?
Weebs.
I know. Wait. No.
What is that?
We gotta talk to him about other stuff.
It's like a
Like, when a spider,
Okay, I'm looking
yeah, it's
for
a spider, isn't
information.
Spider what?
spider webs.
Any flat earthers in chat?
Any 12 incher?
I don't
Any
know
12
if it's
juicer?
matter.
Okay. We already asked him about that.
Ryan Diva, I think. Ryan Hawk.
Where are they coming?
I don't see them.
Top.
Okay.
Diva.
Okay, so no, we've talked to him.
Not seeing them
already,
bottom.
whatever.
They're all top. Kenji, stop left side.
Oh. Okay, go to the motel. And then go to the
You're like
green.
top.
Reloading.
Okay. For better armor. Okay.
No, I missed. I'm sorry. Range.
You killed
Free
my
love,
top,
free love. On a one, on a...
Oh.
You glimpsed someone taking your picture.
Oh, he's so low. He's so low. McCree's so low.
They're on me, man.
It's a
They're
Hawk.
on me.
I'm thinking maybe I should go Mora. You think I should go Mora?
Okay. What's your story, chummer?
Back.
I'm looking for information.
Monkey can go
Too late to swap. I'm gonna stay more a moment.
Tell me what you know
Yeah,
about
go
my
ahead.
brother, Mike.
I'm gonna go pick up our monkey.
Go what?
Okay. I'm looking for.
Hog again?
Or hog.
What's your story?
Stay there, stay. This is okay.
Oh, we paid
Watch,
him.
watch.
Everything.
Wait up, wait up.
Taxi.
Oh, the items he has though.
Hog's a little fat.
Okay.
He's kind of obese.
He has firearms,
Let's go.
right? And he has equipment. He has a passport. He has a maglock
This will
passkey,
be last fight for them.
which is $10,000.
Don't use anything.
Now, should we?
You want back?
Should we save up and buy this maglock?
I'm ready to jump here. I'm gonna try this shit out.
Oh, I killed 3.
Oh, that must be.
Crazy. Run.
Is weapon permit? Okay.
I'm gonna taxi.
So no, we're not gonna buy this, right?
They only have 3 people, I believe.
Correct.
Yeah, wait, okay. Let me get back to you on that, my good man. Okay.
Can we touch?
Who can touch? Who can touch?
Rat's nest.
I can touch with immortal. I can give you immortal call.
Hold it.
Okay, one.
Nice. Random shoot. Right one.
Keep the calls. Keep the calls. Keep the
Okay,
calls.
drop me.
Crew one.
There you go.
Oh,
You'll get a contact who
Roll,
solves a
roll,
level
roll,
5
roll,
maglock. Okay.
not wrong.
We can take a quick fight. That
I
second
see.
point's kind of a joke anyway. We can take it with Bongo and beat.
You have to
Wait,
win
did
one
they shatter?
time.
Did they shatter?
No, they have shot.
Oh, have the shatter.
They bladed though.
Nope, we're going to the green,
Did
the
it?
greenhouse.
Blade and Kree. Just don't do that.
No.
Okay. Oh, the motel.
Winnable, you're
And
the
the greenhouse. Yeah.
One. Hold it.
Window behind you, or something?
Nice job.
Okay, nice. It's still winnable.
That's what happens.
Gonna be hard.
You need a permit. Okay.
That corner's fine. We can cap the first point quickly. We can use most of our time on second point. And I think we can push it on third.
Yes, it's winnable.
So the only thing we could talk to the boss,
Kogori says our
right? The boss is selling
Like
some
90%
information
of the time
too.
spent on that map is the last
Really expensive
like, 10 inches.
information.
Last 7 inches, 6 inches.
8 inches. I cut for you.
Kefri?
Hit them
I don't
like
have
every
it.
time, yeah.
Got a H.
Are
I
you
got a
Asian?
12-inch juicer.
I use matters.
Yeah, we're doing all right. Okay. Go to the motel. Okay, wait a minute. No. The hotel's where we're gonna end up. We're going to the nuke plant, then the hotel. Okay. Nuke and then hotel. Okay.
Statistically speaking, I usually get most of them.
Winnable.
Yeah, we got some attachments in our gun.
Take that top left quick again. Let's go.
Like we have the
Once they go Bastion.
If they go Bastion,
Go bottom.
then
Hey,
we die.
wait for me.
Go back. Go bottom.
Like check it out.
Top left, the top left.
My gun
Yeah, Bastion.
has a drill bit
No.
attached to it
Wait, why are we?
and a
They're top
Nokia
left.
Someone
pager
asked, why
on
did
the
they
back of
What?
it on my Robocop gun. No, but yeah, look, you can see I have the suppressor on it and the smart link or whatever
Reloading.
it is.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Nice. Don't get it, Anna.
Oh, am I way beyond ready? Yeah, I got the drill and the pager, man.
Reloading.
That's the future
Oh, he's so
DeWalt
Play
right there.
for a second.
Maybe they want to recontest. Can we stay 3 on point?
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, look at our.
Can we stay 3 on point?
Yeah, I will stay fine.
We got
I'm
our
coming over.
I'll push up a little bit. I need to-
negotiation skills pretty high. Reputation went
They
up.
have a ball now.
I guess we just need willpower.
It's okay.
We're gonna be
Right.
fucking ready
Oh,
to
they
go
have
to
our stuff on.
Newtown. We're gonna go in there, guns blazing. We're gonna go to the next town. We're
I'll
gonna be
put
just
this
like
on just full.
Now be careful. Try to
You
play a
could be
little bit
fucking-
behind, 'cause they're gonna pull your dick.
taking over.
Yeah, okay. Just brick shoe.
They got
600.
We got the three. Yeah, we got the dermal plating. We got the best vest.
That's fine.
Right? What else do we
That's
have?
fine.
We can have another fight.
Spitting.
Shoot.
So we can win this one? Maybe?
No, left side.
Don't get a brick.
Oh, he was behind. I'm sorry.
Is it regrip?
We
How
should
come it
have
still says one?
Reset. We have pulse next.
60 seconds remaining.
What's up, one?
The dermal plating still says we have
On
one.
my shoe. You can come with me.
We need to kill that Anna. She gets big empties.
I agree.
Check it out.
I'm gonna use the window this fight. Do you remember
This
what
is
happened?
dermal plating one.
Hold him.
Shouldn't it say 3?
Shield's almost broken.
Die. You got a poke.
People?
2 sec.
They have no gold.
We can we reset again? I think I'm gonna die.
Or no?
Hog bottom right.
And I did buy 3 of them.
I don't think we have time.
It's,
Yeah, I swear I bought 3 of them
Just a
too.
hide.
Yeah?
Just hide.
Tracer, you have to touch.
Oh,
I
man.
lost the money every time I bought them. I even asked too when I was buying them. I'm like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Do you just buy them and it just that's it?"
Hooked. Hold to high noon.
Play of the game.
Okay. Neutral. Yeah, we're like still dermal plating 1. That's weird. Did I run out of mod ability? Is that it? I don't think so. Let me see.
It is a time of peril in an expanding world of technology and magic. An ominous force threatens to eradicate the peaceful civilizations of the world. Legions of darkness, hordes of evil, an infectious plague upon the land. All of this brought on by a cruel and ravenous force. The Trevgar. But there is hope. A noble lord of a humble kingdom proved to his populace that the Trevgar can be defeated. Armed with a legendary bow infused with magical powers, he held the never-ending invasion at bay. But the siege would inevitably consume the kingdom in
you.